Hello and salutations to nobody but me. Hello and salutations to a little friendly bee, Mr. Sandman. Where's the number thing? There it is. There we are. Ah. Yeah, baby. Oh. Plans for today? I have no idea. All I know is that from yesterday, I immediately broke it. Why did you break it? Is it because... Hell yeah. No idea what currently the plant is. Function call dot point movement check mouse. Movement check mouse. Okay. Shut up for now. Yep, there we are. So it says view result, return result, var point equals movement dot check mouse. Ending point should be if point dot collider dot is in group. That should be it. Print and cheers. Yeah. Hell yeah, I currently have a cousin who is creating me a logo, which is going to be great. It's just going to be awesome. So movement.move to point, meaning this one move point, meaning is moving equals true. Move to point end point. Move clear can move. Turns false to remove the just tracks ability to move. Mouse position. Camera, the static body. These have all been set if I remember correctly. Yes. That means movement has access to them. Wonderful. That means move to point as is moving. That means is moving var move point. Is this used at all? Yeah, move point is equal to end point. That's perfect. So now we need a... Where is it? Right. So... Okay. So move is place player dot position is equal to it's equal to player dot position dot move towards end to move point at a speed of delta move point at. Okay, so does this have, that's the camera speed, player move point var, move speed, let's make that 10 for now. At export, because that makes it so we can edit it from outside of the script. Move speed multiplied by delta. Beautiful. So once this moving is true, that should work. The camera did not seem to go along. If camera player is true. Camera dot position. Position. Well, that's interesting. It's specifically getting the position of the collider as the endpoint. So it's this, the check mouse is, the result is the intersect, not the actual object itself. Meaning return result dot collider. Yep, now that goes to one specific point instead of the intersect. Meaning print point static body 3D. Yep, it is the body itself, meaning it's got this. Wonderful. Camera doesn't seem to be going to it constantly though. Stand cam dot position, and if we move the player dot position, meaning it's the static body 3D, that means camera position player, this specifically, meaning this is why we're going to do a fun little function, func_test. Pass for now. What this will simply do is, this is, I don't need it for that one right now, I need it for this one. Func_test pass, I need the stan print stan cam position dot position and input test project settings, input map, add new action, test check, add backspace, close, input check, input checked if input dot is action just pressed, test check, test will run all it does, so there we go. So it didn't move before and after the player itself moved, meaning is it just moving this without moving any of the... What? So wait, are you telling me, where is this? Camera point of view, on starting the game, locks into place. But once the player actually begins to move, he doesn't? There we go. So back, so this. So it is following, and if it just goes straight up. Okay, so it is going to the position, but for some reason when the player moves, this moves, but this doesn't. Even though it is part of it? Strange. Camera position player, it should move, right? Move towards, is it that it's not changing camera dot position? Position, so for example, if I put that stand camera position is equal plus equals 10 10 10. First of all, what? Actor 3 at 10 10 10. Does that just work? Yes, it does. X test meaning but so the player does move towards that. If cam to player is only called once, therefore it should never be edited with. But it's still being changed, so why? If you can't tell, I'm confused. Player dot position dot move. Move speed dark delta. The move point is the end point, which is that. But the thing is that when the player moves, the player is, yeah, it is this player. So player dot position equals player dot. If I just do that, then yeah, it does need the Hey, I've learned how to do this though. That's useful. It's very clear that this is, for some reason, that is not changing. For some reason, because this is working. Absolutely, it is. When the player moves, this script moves this object, why? Player dot position. Mass position. This is, it's a node 3D. Move towards this object player. No, how do I stand cam dot position? If I do self dot position, if I do this, self dot position plus vector 3 of 0, 0, 0, which is up and down, form, that's y. Okay, so this one's y plus 0.5. So that did work. Beautiful. I think 1.5 might do better though. So wait a minute. So if I go to 3D, this is in the transform at 0.614. Equals false. In the test, we will do cam to player equals true. So it starts here and then it goes away. Right. Yeah, currently I'm above the player, so 6, 8, Okay, beautiful. That allows me to completely remove the need for this. And this. And this. True, it starts as true. You can also just freeze it in place with the test. Goodbye. And if I undo the backspace, oh no, if that doesn't do anything, so backspace. Right, it is cam to player equals not cam to player. Meaning this just allows me to turn it on and off on a whim. So there is it off, backspace again. So yeah, that's at about head height. I will, however, make this a variable. Var, no, it's var, yeah, it's var camera h for height is equal to vector 3, which is starts at height for standing is equal to 0, 0.680. So player standing cam height, cam control C, and this should work just as well. Yep. It's jittery, right? Is that jittery? Nah, it seems good. Seems great. Who needs it? Yeah, baby. Okay, baby. This just does that, however. So the player, that means camera to position input check. Click var check mouse, so it checks the mouse if it actually clicked on something. Something, it goes to here. If it exists, do something. If it then moves to a certain point. However, Node 3D currently together, check mouse, move to point is moving true. Okay. Since this has the move function, now there's multiple ways to do this. So currently what I'm trying to figure out is that when the player is moving to a position or moving to another point, I don't want them to be able to click on anything else or click on another movement point. Because of that, this essentially has to be true or false, meaning if point exists, if and point is a movement point, and something else, and means both needs to be true, meaning camera 3D. I would need to add a new one at this point, meaning it never even gets to there. That can be useful. So if is moving is true. So once the move to point is called, it makes it is moving is true. Function is moving, return is moving, right. Get is moving, beautiful, and that means movement dot get is moving, meaning and get is moving the X. So moving, move to point, is moving is equal to true. So maybe you click on something. This is currently the only print, correct? MP1, move to point. I could do it as a timer, or I could do it when the player enters a certain area to flip it back to true. What I could also do is I could make a third script, attach it to the static body, with it, which essentially I can attach it to multiple items with different exports, and specifically set a timer for every single one. So when you click on an object, it essentially grabs the time of this object, and when you click on something, it starts a timer that stops it. That will essentially make it where it will stop you from being able to move until the timer is over, so until you have finished moving. I think that will be the most simple to implement. So MP1 movement point. It will not go in scenes, it will go in scripts. Perfect. At export var move timer standing is equal to, let's just make it 5 seconds for now, or a base of 0. Time to get to point. And that means movement here will also need a timer. Okay, so MP1 plus I'm going to get a timer. Hooray, one shot. The timer will stop after reaching the end. Otherwise, if true, the timer will stop after reaching the end, will automatically restart. I do want a one shot. Timer will immediately start immediately once it enters the screen. No. If true, the timer will. Time scale. Well, we can use that. Maybe wait time idle. This will be move, pause, timer. So the movement point is this the amount of seconds it needs to get to the end. It will at on ready our timer equals not equals this as a timer, meaning here. No, actually, this should be under movement, not under here. So MP1, no, movement. Yeah, this shouldn't be right here. This should be right here. In here, meaning port, assign, move, pause, timer, beautiful. So what happens is that move to point, on move to point, movement, so we check the mouse, we get its position. What we do is if is moving is true, then it moves. If it's not, then it doesn't. So what we do is here is that our have to do is you will not need this. Don't know if you'll need a ready, so function get move this standing as return move TS move mov TS. Wonderful. I'm a genius. Movement. So currently result dot intersect query currently. So what I do is so move point dot get move TS. This timer separated slightly var time is equal to 0 currently. Var, no, just time is equal to move point get TS. Our timer dot set time, no. Start with this time. Currently it's at 0. Let's just set that to 3 seconds. Func on timer time out print thing. Okay, so is non-existent function and get move TS and base vector 3 move point dot collider. Is that it? Oh no, it's because it's already a collider, meaning... Honestly, this would need to be here and use result. Why are you getting pissy? Oh, there's a bug. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But I try. I really try. Okay, so on tire time out. Time out. Right. Connect to movement on move pause timer. Timeout. Right. It's this. Now I do print thing. This should pause it for like click it and then 3 seconds later should do it. Perfect. That's beautiful. Meaning what will happen is that upon the end of it is moving is equal to false. Clear control, this should it if it's a movement point and movement tot get is moving is false. That means print something just to confirm it. Beautiful. So it does stop it from working. This test I will also have print. Nope, this should be lowercase print. Following are test variables. That's just to do it. And I print move can move this plus movement dot get is moving. Lowercase g. I think this should be a comma. So backspace can move false. Can move false. Oh, no, yeah, so the opposite. Can move. True, it's just that this is asking if it is moving, so... What just happened? Oh, right, this. Beautiful. So that just allows me to delay it. This specifically gets complicated depending on where I'm facing it. So, for example, if we have a hallway, like this, and this, if I click it from here and I'm all the way over here, it's a certain amount of time. But if I'm over here, maybe it's a different amount of time to get to that point. Or if I'm right here, it's a different amount of time, meaning this can start to get really complicated with handling where it is. I could do a formula. Yeah. That is honestly much better. Instead of just returning it, essentially what I can do, or just having a time connected to it, I can use a formula of so the time is simply distance divided by speed, meaning honestly, in movement, move towards, what I can do instead of instead of this, or even just get time, what I can do is time equals player dot position dot distance to the move point dot, not that, just this is distance to the move point divided by move speed equals this. And if I just, so what will that do? So can move. That just works so much better. God, that just, I don't need that at all. I might still need this, depending on current stuff, but yeah, that's so much easier. I'm an idiot. And a genius. I'm both. Can you be both? I don't know, but I'm doing it. I'm gonna take a drink. All I know is that I'm great. Everything's good. I have no idea how this will sound or how this will look or how anything will go once this is all over. All I know is that I am a genius of using incredibly basic mechanics to achieve an incredibly basic result. Godspeed, Spider-Man. Get is moving, return, so... What is printing this out again? Might be... Not there, not there. Movement point. No, it's in movement. Isn't it in check mouse? Yeah, there we go. I can move to a certain position, and if this position is much taller, then I will go up. However, if I standardize them and just keep them all at that same transform, I can do that. So now debug, project settings, click, add new action, crouch, plus add, control. Okay, so this will be rather different because it is if. Okay, so if input dot is what it is action pressed at all, crouch I am going to do a var he's crouched over here at display control at movement. I am going to do that is a move. Currently this is the move speed. I'm going to change that to move speed S, S, and S. Because that's move speed standing, dash, export var, move speed C, which is move speed while crouching. I'm going to set that to a base of 5. Half of the speed normally. That means this needs to be edited immediately. This needs to be edited immediately. So, and a true and false. So when it is pressed, if you're holding control, you slow down, make less noise. That's going to be implemented later. If you stand up, you undo it in a sense. Like if you're standing up, you make more noise, move a little bit faster. Safe stuff. So what happens is that player control, if you not just pressed, if it is pressed, if action is pressed crouch, that means it's done continuously. There's also if input dot is action just released crouch. Okay, just for me to print thing, print long. So how does this work? Okay, so if I change that to just, it means if you're holding it, clong thing, clong thing, clong thing. Okay, so I can do this with just one. Func okay, is moving, var is crouching, is crouch is equal, starts out as false. Func crouch toggle will just simply be, I'm going to move this above the test function because I want it to be there. Func crouch toggle is crouch equal to not is crouch. Beautiful. Now in movement point, or in player control, do movement dot crouch toggle. We can just do the same thing over again in movement when it is moving. So if is crouch is true while the character player is first let's start with here. If is crouch, meaning the player is crouching. If the player is not crouching, do this. Well, let's do the third one. R is sprint, which you can implement alongside it, actually. So project settings, add new action, sprint, add listening for input, left shift, okay. Close, we can do this as well. Just make a copy, ouch, sprint, crouch toggle, sprint toggle, which we will add in a second, sprint toggle. This does make things more complicated though, so crouch toggle, func, sprint toggle is sprint is equal to not is sprint. By having both of them makes it complicated because you can't crouch and sprint at the same time. Meaning if is crouch is false and is sprint is false, then that's it. Else if is crouch is true and if crouch is true and then time is equal to this, move speed C, export var move speed SP is equal to, let's just say 15. If is crouching is true and is sprint, you could also do it the better way if you're holding L. If is crouch is false and is sprint is true, then player is moving by sprint. Finally, else if is crouch is true and is sprint is true, then player dot speed is normal. So you can do it normal. That's just, this might need to be changed later. Why are you doing this to me? Oh, right. There we go. And then the timer starts the time. So that allows me to essentially crouch and not crouch. crouch toggle, so that works beautifully. And for moving, you can do a really similar thing where I just take this entire block, I slam it right there, and see, this works here, this works here, this doesn't really work, not really. Hooray, I love bots in my chat. Don't you love bots in your chat? Die, bot in my chat. Hooray. There's a certain satisfaction to that, knowing that it hasn't worked and therefore they spent money to do nothing. If they're crouching, move speed C. If they're sprinting, then move speed S. And we can just cut that out entirely. Now, how does this work? So if I just move, perfect. If I'm holding control, much slower. If I'm holding sprint, I think I'm so fast that the camera isn't catching up, meaning I think that player cam speed, oh right, it should be 15 at a minimum. Yeah, it does work. And the thing that changes is that if it does, because it essentially only runs once and sets it in stone, you can't reset it, it does work that way. However, if camera to position delta, I want it to be if you're crouched, it's much lower. Obviously, that's normal. I think this is the last thing I'm going to do before I'm done for today. So, the only thing that's natural to do is to do it. Position this camera or this vector 3. That's the standing height. Var camera height crouching is equal to vector 3 0 0 point. So that would be the middle. So yeah, just 0 0 0. Let's keep it at that. So so what happens is that if you pressed crouch, what I want to do it is that you uncrouch when you get to the end of the hall. Got a bug, I killed it, I'm so happy. I had no idea. I won. The war is over. So this is stranger because the way I want it to work is that I want him to, if you press control, he crouches down automatically. However, if you release control, they can only do movements at certain decisions. So if you're crouching, you do the entire movement crouching. Meaning, if I just do it right here, where if you pressed it, crouch, this will lead to an inconsistency. If I implement the changing of the camera height right here, where he will move to the end of the hall standing up while still being at the crouch speed. So what I have to do here is, how do I say this? It's I'm just trying to figure it out. So, meaning that if I do it, I could do a thing right here on the end of the timer where you check the height or you send a signal over to the player control script. Now I need to think on this. Change camera height to be dependent on whether or not you are crouching. And I think that's going to be everything for today, lads. I know that this is day 2 and no one on YouTube is ever going to see day 1 because I forgot to download it or I didn't know how that worked. So now it's just day 1's going to be shot off into the void. But I think an hour is good. I think I'm happy with the progress I've made. So cheers. See y'all next time.